What's going on, everybody? This is Keith Reed. Welcome to a new installment of 5 Minutes on Worship. Well, before we get started with the subject matter for today, one thing that I definitely did want to bring our attention to very quickly is that during the course of this week, there have been some tragic events that have happened in the Texas area. So we definitely want to offer our prayers and our support to that region. I'm going to encourage you, if you have not already done so, look into some local charities, maybe see if your church can reach out and do something to be a blessing to that area. So, again, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in that area. So let's definitely continue to, in the days that are coming ahead, to lift them up and to pray for them. All right. Well, we have started a new series here on 5 Minutes on Worship entitled The Reality of Worship. So last week we actually brought forth our theme scripture, which was from John chapter 4, around verse 22, where it talks about a time is coming and such as now when the Father is seeking worshipers that would worship him in spirit and in truth. So I want to just tackle that subject matter just a little bit more. Last week I gave you guys a foundation as far as what those terms literally mean and our responsibility as far as being true worshipers. Now, one thing to think about when we look at this particular scripture, we understand that when Jesus is having the conversation before making this profound statement, he was talking with a Samaritan woman. One of the things that you have to understand about the Samaritans was that the Samaritans were extremely religious. Okay, so it's not like they didn't know the customs and the laws and things like that. So there is a point in the conversation where Jesus is talking with this woman and he's saying, well, you know what? You guys worship what you don't know. Because what happened, and this is one of the wonderful things about Jesus coming into the world, Jesus came to fulfill the relationship aspect that was lost when we started becoming religious in our behavior. And I say we becoming religious in our behavior because if we are not careful, even as modern day Christians who are under grace, who are under this new covenant, we can at times fall victim to a religious mindset. And so in the reality of worship, like I said, we're talking about the reality of worship. And so what we need to do when we talk about the reality of worship is literally be real about where we are. Sometimes we get into places where we just go through the motions. And yes, sometimes you do have to coax yourself to be able to praise. Sometimes you have to coax yourself to be able to worship. Just like the psalmist said, I will bless the Lord at all times and his praises will continually be in my mouth. One thing we have to remember as real worshipers is that sometimes we are not always going to feel up to our best. But one thing that we have to remember is that we do need to bless the Lord at all times in every situation, good, bad, ugly, and different. God expects, he requires, he is seeking worshipers who will worship in spirit and in truth. So if you are worshiping in spirit, you are worshiping from that inner man, that inner being. And if you're worshiping in truth, that means you don't ignore the reality of your situation. That means that you accept it and you say, in spite of, God is still worthy and I am going to give him everything that is due unto him and bless his holy name. All right, so I'm getting excited today, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. Thank you for tuning in today. Again, this is Keith Reed. This is 5 Minutes on Worship. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on In the Flow, I pray that these teachings are being a blessing, and we will be back next week with some more here with 5 Minutes on Worship. God bless you.